Tonight on CTV News, wild weather rocks the region. What one resident experienced from home after the lightning storm. A momentous day for the Christchurch RSA, celebrating a century milestone. And international singer Taylor Swift greets young Canterburyans at Melbourne Airport. Kia ora, good evening. It's the country's first RSA to be established, and today marks a milestone. It's been a century since the Christchurch Memorial RSA was formed, as soldiers started to return home from World War I. Reflecting on the past. It's a momentous day for the Christchurch Memorial RSA, celebrating 100 years since its formation.
Back in 1915, on that evening, we had 35 soldiers who'd returned from Gallipoli. They were wounded guys, and they got together here in Christchurch. They'd been talking on the troop ships and hospital ships on the way home from Egypt about the needs that they had and the needs that they felt that their comrades would have when they finally came home from the Great War.
The city then became the first to officially establish a Returned Soldiers Association, thanks to Captain Sir Donald Simpson, a veteran of the Boer War, who was injured in Gallipoli back in May 1915.
He got a knighthood for the work that he had done with veterans, both here and in South Africa. And he was the guy that led the push. And our committee in Christchurch then started to go around New Zealand canvassing the other areas and thinking we need to do this nationwide because, of course, our soldiers came from right across the country. And in 1916, the New Zealand Returned and Services Association was formed. And we'll have our oldest veteran with us, a gentleman by the name of Bill Mitchell. Bill's 102 years old. And we're very proud to have Bill with us today.
But the RSA here has come with its challenges. Like many around the city, their building was damaged in the earthquakes, with the new premises opening in March this year.
It's a very proud day for us, particularly to be able to celebrate it here in our new home. You know, in 2011, we didn't think we were going to have much chance, but 4 years later, we've got this beautiful establishment here, a place that we can truly be proud and set a base for the next 100 years.
With their focus changed, they hope to continue to give back to the community.
And we decided that it was more appropriate to become part of the community and reach out, bring the community into us and us go out into the community.
It's not just to acknowledge the past, but also getting set for another 100 years. Almost 5 years since the February earthquakes, a pile of rubble from a historic church in Sydenham could soon be cleaned up. Imogen McLennan explains.
What remains of the Sydenham Methodist Church has been lying on the site since February 2011, an eyesore for many and a reminder of the quakes. The Sydenham Heritage Trust has been working to get the go-ahead on clearing the site, and it looks like it may soon be successful.
We're all hopeful from the Trust that it is going to move forward very soon. We do have a plan, and hopefully the plan will be accepted by the people that need to accept it, and then we'll be able to move forward.
The Trust has been working with the City Council, Environment Canterbury and other consultants to come up with a plan to remove the rubble, what's left of its old church. It looks likely to be signed off in February and cleared soon after.
That really has been our focus for several years since the earthquakes, is clearing it, saving the stone, rescuing anything that we can from inside, and just moving on to the future.
Once the site is cleared, the materials saved will be used in the rebuild of the new facility on the same site.
We'll build a community facility to and use the stone as a facing or some part of that facility.
The question for many is, why has it taken so long? The Trust has been set back by insurance issues as well as an asbestos scare. In April last year, traces of the deadly dust were found on the site, but testing showed they were not from the church itself.
With the finding of some asbestos, which we knew was not in the building, on the top, and obviously was windblown, that has held us up because you need to be much more careful, even with windblown asbestos, to make sure that people are safe.
For those involved with the old church site, the new year will likely start on a great note when they can finally move forward with the new building. Imogen McLennan, CTV News.
Arsonists have struck again in Christchurch, this time 3 Housing New Zealand units. The blaze was reported at 3 a.m. on Sunday, taking hold of the development in Aranui. The units were to have been filled by families in need. It's the latest in a number of deliberately lit fires in recent weeks, with Hamilton High School being attacked along with the South Shore sand dunes, which threatened homes. The Aranui units were part of a complex of 70 homes, and the damaged units are scheduled to be demolished tomorrow. Well, still to come here on CTV News, Bridget's here with your neighbourhood news. Welcome back to CTV News. The Riccarton Road Bus Lounge officially opened this morning. It's hoped the new facility will help ease congestion on one of the country's busiest roads. More than 3,000 people board buses at Riccarton daily, with the lounge accommodating close to 200 people. Well, the city's street art festival Spectrum's back with a new burst of colour and design, and this year sees more international interest showcasing the best in street art. It's one of the biggest street art shows in the world, back for a second time here in the city. Spectrum showcases some of the world's and country's best street artists, displaying everything from urban art to visual effects.
We're very pleased. We think that we've at least reached the level that we set for ourselves last year. What we wanted to do is to create a more immersive experience where people are actually inside the artwork rather than just looking at it, and I think we've achieved that.
The festival opened to the public at the weekend, seeing hundreds through the YMCA doors in Hereford Street.
The lovely thing about it is that we know there's a lot of Cantabrians coming in who didn't come last year already as well. So I'm sure the vast majority who came last year will come back, and that means that the word is spreading about what we're doing. And we're producing something that we're being told by the visiting street artists from all over Europe and the States, etc., that what we're producing here is as good, if not better, than anything else in the world. So, yeah, come down and check it out and see what you think.
Street art has been a part of the central city landscape since the earthquakes, with murals taking over many building walls in the CBD. And now the creative minds from here and around the world have come together to produce this.
This is my first time coming this year, but I came probably 4 or 5 times last year because it was an amazing exhibition, and it's just something different from what we've got normally.
Incredible. There's a lot of talent. I definitely wouldn't even know where to start to do anything like this. So yeah, just the talent we've got in Christchurch is incredible, and it's awesome to be able to come and see it.
Plans are already in place for next year's show, but for now there's still plenty of time to see the festival, with the show wrapping up in April next year. The design for a fishing deck on New Brighton's pier has been released, with hopes to resolve tensions between fishers and the public. Emma J. McLennan reports.
David East's bid to solve years of problems between fishermen and sightseers has taken another step forward. The long-term North New Brighton resident and city councillor has released plans which could make the pier a friendly place for both the fishermen and the beachgoers.
I've just been working on some plans myself at this stage because I've always been of the attitude that fishing on the pier is an activity that was always planned for.
Councillor East took a potential design to the Burwood Pegasus Community Board on Monday, one which he had designed by an architect. It shows a lower deck built around the end of the pier so fishermen can continue without getting in the way or making a mess on the main pier.
Long term, really, I think we need that separation between those that want to fish for recreation and those that just want to go down and wander on the pier.
The Community Board has agreed the deck and related costs should be looked into by the City Council. Councillor East has asked the architect, who was involved in both the original pier design and the design released last week, to provide some costings.
He's coming back to me before Christmas with some budget ideas, costings for the project, and we'll take it from there. So obviously the big thing is going to be the money, and I'm not looking for council to fund the whole thing. I'm looking to sort of investigate a variety of funding options.
These include speaking to community groups and local philanthropists, as well as the council for the essential backing to make the plans work. In the meantime, it looks likely fishing will be banned on Sundays and the size of crab pots restricted to help cut down on problem fishing. Emma Jane McLennan, CTV News.
Now let's cross to Bridget Rutherford in the newsroom with what's happening in your neighbourhood.
Thanks, Jared. Jelly Park Recreation and Sports Centre needs a plan update or it may lose its high-performance sport facility. The Apollo Project Centre was moved to Jelly Park from QE2 after the earthquakes under emergency legislation, but it's not included in a council plan for Jelly Park. The Fendalton Waimari Community Board will decide whether to include the High Performance Centre in the plan. Board Deputy Chairman David Cartwright says it'd be crazy to lose such a fantastic facility and doubted there would be any objections to it being included. Once the plans have been approved, public consultation will begin next month. Whananui school pupils are making sure children in hospital over Christmas will still have a merry day. The pupils have been busy fundraising and now have enough money to buy about 100 toys for the children's ward. To ensure the toys were suitable and they got the best bang for their buck, they researched online. Auditions to be part of a Papanui dance studio that produced hip-hop superstars Polaroid are sure to be crowded this week. The auditions will be held on Saturday and there's expected to be a lot of people wanting to gain a place at the studio where Polaroid is based. The dance crew came second in the World Hip Hop Championships in the Caribbean recently. North City Church Executive Manager Barbara Watson says it just goes to show the studio can take on the world. The banks of the Heathcote River will be made into a Hotel Hilton for whitebait. Volunteers will put 216 wheat straw bales along a 3-kilometre section of the riverbank from Jackson's Creek to the Woolston Cut on January 30. The bales will provide a place for whitebait to lay their eggs in the breeding season from February to June. The project is part of EOS ecology program Whaka Inaka, which aims to restore spawning habitats for the city's main species of whitebait. The bales are being stored at Gelita in Woolston until the installation day next month. From the newsroom, I'm Bridget Rutherford.
Thanks for that, Bridget. Well, a Christchurch family couldn't believe their luck when they met one of the world's biggest pop stars right after they had seen her in concert. The Taylor family, yes, that's their last name, had visited Melbourne to see Taylor Swift in concert at Amy Stadium on Saturday. As they waited in line at Melbourne Airport on Sunday, they were surprised to see the pop star in the aisle next to them. News, local sport and the region's weather forecast. Welcome back to CTV News. Now here's Gordon Finlater with the latest in local sport.
Well, the country's top young cricketers will descend upon Lincoln University this week for the New Zealand Under-19 tournament. The competition gets underway tomorrow, and after a summer of club or school cricket to date for most involved, it's good to get into the rep stuff.
It's definitely a step up from school cricket and what the boys have been playing lately, and especially club cricket. It's good to, put on the red jersey and play some high quality cricket. Yeah.
The Canterbury team is made up of 8 former or present Christchurch Boys High players, adding an interesting element into the dressing room.
The guys that I've played with in Boys High definitely are close. Like we get along well, but the other guys who have come into the team certainly played alongside them for the majority of our cricketing days. So yeah, we get along with them well, and it's a really good mix of boys, and we all get along well.
Well, the national Under-19 title will be the top of mind for everyone over the next week. Selection for the New Zealand Under-19 team to play at next year's World Cup will also add extra incentive to impress.
Tournaments like this are an awesome way to, one, pit yourself against who else there is in the country, but also, the cream definitely does rise to the top in tournaments like this. So from a selector's point of view, having everyone out at Lincoln will be a fantastic opportunity for them to see who's who of the age group boys.
And Ibrahim knows how special playing in the ICC Under-19 tournament can be, recalling a victory over the West Indies whilst representing Zimbabwe back in 1998.
The likes of Gale, Samuels, Sarwan, So yeah, we were pretty fortunate, and with the New Zealanders, we had the likes of the Marshall brothers and Louis Vincent, a few boys, as well as all the Sri Lankan teams, South African teams. Funny enough, there's quite a few South African boys who play in New Zealand at the moment.
For now, though, it's down to provincial business, with Canterbury's first 50-over match tomorrow against Wellington. Well, to football now, and yesterday's hail and thunderstorm played havoc at English Park for the Canterbury United Dragons side, who played against Team Wellington. The ASB Youth League fixture got underway in ominous conditions before the match had to be paused towards the end of the first half due to hailstones littering the Astro surface. The players then came back out with wintry conditions coming and going throughout the afternoon. Unfortunately, Canterbury were on the wrong side of the result, with Wellington scoring 2 goals to the home side's 1, prevailing in what is sure to be a match to remember for all involved. And just finally tonight, there was success in Malaysia for young Canterbury racer James Munro, who claimed victory at the Sepang 12-hour endurance race. Munro and his teammates drove a solid race, defying expectations to bring their Lamborghini Huracan home first in the GTC class. Well, you're up to date with the latest in local sport. I'm Gordon Findlater for CTV Sport.
Thanks for that, Gordon. Just before we go to Mercy with the weather, a woman says she's lucky to be alive after a house was struck by lightning during Sunday's storm. Imogen McLennan has more.
Burwood resident Philippa Noonan has spoken of the frightening moment lightning struck her house. She was talking with her adult son in her living room when lightning struck the house at about 5 o'clock last night.
This thing just came over top of us and it just lit up the whole house. It was amazing. There was a massive boom. And then everything went out. There was just, it was just incredible.
The two were shocked by the lightning, electricity flowing through their bodies, and a feeling Mrs. Noonan struggled to describe.
It was really frightening. It was, you were just sort of standing there, and it happened so quickly, and it just felt like it went through your whole body. And I just said to my son, obviously we felt it because it was around the house. I said, did you feel that? And he said, yes, it just felt like your heart was pumping so hard. It was, yeah. But that could have been a bit of adrenaline and a bit of fear.
After the strike, the two checked the house and found all of their larger appliances had been fried. But while it is frustrating, it could have been worse. Firefighters who checked the house said the two were lucky to be in a new home.
And they came out and reassured us and said that we were just very lucky that we were in a brand new house. Had it been an older place, apparently it could have been quite different.
And the Burwood home wasn't the only place struck by lightning yesterday, with 3 fires started in the Selwyn area during the storm.
The shadow belts, obviously, we were quite well involved, but we were able to extinguish them reasonably quickly. The fire on the hill above Taitap was reasonably small, but we couldn't get to it, so she had a helicopter and with a monsoon bucket to help extinguish it.
The fires were made worse by the dry conditions in the area. At the same time, giant hailstones, some as large as 2 centimetres across, were pelting North Canterbury. Motorists had to pull over as the giant chunks of ice hit cars and blanketed the ground. Imogen McLennan, CTV News.
Well, the weekend's wild weather has now passed, and Mercy, well, it was quite intense, wasn't it?
Thanks, Jared. And I know, wasn't it stormy out there yesterday afternoon? Definitely an inside afternoon for that Sunday with hail, lightning and thunder as well. Today was a lot sunnier though, complete contrast. 22 was the high there for Timaru, Temuka and Geraldine. Central Canterbury, Christchurch took out 23 degrees today, along with Akaroa, Leeston, Darfield and New Methven. Ashburton, you got one up on these guys with 24 degrees. Looking further north now, 23 was also a bit of a trend for Cheviot, Hamner Springs, Colwyn and Oxford. Rangiora taking out 22. And over to the Alpine region, 19 for Lake Tekapo and 18 for you, Mount Cook. Now tomorrow we are expecting a fine start with beautiful warm temperatures. However, a bit of a southerly coming through in the afternoon and could be seeing a few heavy rain showers with that. Flipping over to you, Ashburton, a similar picture here. So do expect that beautiful warm 25-degree high there, but again are also seeing a few rain showers coming through around the afternoon mark. The Garden City, 25 is also your expected high with 8 for your overnight low. Could be a little bit soggy later on though. Kaikoura, 1 or 2 heavy falls in the mix for you as well as the afternoon hits. 23 degrees for your high during the day. Looking ahead, South Canterbury also seeing a bit of that rain coming through. Great for those farmers though, 24 degrees for Temuka and Geraldine. Central Canterbury, warm highs here, 26 for Darfield and Akaroa. We are seeing that southerly come through in the afternoon for Central Canterbury though, so it could be a bit of rain with that. Heading further north now, those northwesterly winds present in the morning with sunny skies first up. 26 degrees is that beautiful high there for Hanmer Springs, Amberley and Culverden. Do watch that rain in the afternoon though. Alpine region, 20 there for Lake Tekapo, a few showers for you with northwesterly winds. Checking out the upcoming days, Wednesday unfortunately is looking cold and we are seeing that really wet start. So rain early morning into late morning is supposed to fire up a little bit as the day goes on, but still the occasional drizzle patch here and there. Thursday's looking a little bit drier, still a few showers lingering though and southerly winds, but they should be dying out in a mostly dry day. That cloud should be breaking on Thursday, however on Wednesday for most of the Canterbury region we're seeing really cold southerly winds, cold temperatures and that rain in the morning really prevalent, just easing off as the day goes on. On Thursday, cloudy start, however we are seeing that sun peeking out as the day goes on. Still a few showers though, particularly for central and north Canterbury, but the good news is those southerly winds will be easing off. So over the next few days we are expecting a bit of an unsettled week unfortunately. Some of that much needed rain though coming through again for the farmers on Wednesday morning, and we are also seeing that Tuesday afternoon. That's your update for Monday. Back to you, Jared.
Thanks so much for that, Mercy. And just before we go tonight, tributes have been flooding in for comedy legend John Gadsby. He was known for his satirical shows in the 80s and 90s and passed away at the age of 62. But for now, that is CTV News for tonight. You can find all our bulletins on demand at ctv.co.nz. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Jared McCulloch. Have a great evening.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.